Testing, testing, testing. Excellent. Okay, so not a long one today. I have had a very busy weekend. Lots of talking, lots of people. We had a tabletop expo in my local area this weekend. So, I am just wanting to relax a bit. Okay. Yeah, I just want to relax a little. Uh, Relax a little, work on some progress. Currently, I have been battling a writer's block on this bit. Uh, I'm not sure what to do. So, I'll explain. What I want is when you roll a 20 on the d20, you succeed automatically. That bit was easy. What I then want is an action. The player gets the option to make a specific action. And technically, it could pick any action in this list. It's just there are some recommendations of when they would be most useful. So I kind of want some actions for exploring, for socializing, for general use, and for combat. The key thing is I don't want it's like I had one for combat where it's like, oh yeah, you get a special attack that does more damage, and I was like, no, we don't want that because a critical hit already grants extra damage. I'm sure 2 turns of high damage is nice, but there's plenty of stuff that does damage. We want to do something different. So the question then comes, what do we do? So in combat we have one which lets you channel the bonds to let you both do an action, and then the other is you can attack and then you get a follow through movement that won't provoke any opportunity attacks. Uh, there's got to be one more thing. I've just got to work out what that is. Um, so yeah, it's trying to work out what to do. If we can. Oh, pardon me. I said this is going to be a small one today. If we could overcome this, then that would be amazing. it's one of those things where it's a neat idea. I now just have to be able to make it work. So, how could we make it? Because the thing is, I could look at how age does it, but age tends to be a rather than it. Firstly, stunts can happen at any time when two die are matching. The second thing about age is its stunt system tends to be a modification to the role that you are taking. It's kind of, here's my role, I've rolled this amount, now I get a stunt off of that roll. So, what I want is. This is you roll a 20 and you get another action. Rather than a modification to the action. So that's my main role at the moment. It's similar vibe, different states. The part of me does wonder, would it just be easier to... Would it be easier to have it be an upgrade to the role? For combat that would work, because we're doing things like... You get to take the... no, I don't want to do that, because... So that would... If I was to make a modification of a roll, it would modify follow through to not have the negative being at range. Let's see if we could come up with some things that don't modify the roll for now. If I have to, I'll go to modifying the roll, but I kind of don't want to touch that if I can. Just because it will get awkward quickly. So I should explain my goals for this. My goals for this, which is why it's getting a bit difficult, is I can't say you can only do an action via this. So press the point. I'm having to be careful about, because I can't really go press the point. Oh, you can follow up on a statement that an NPC had, because if I make that a stunt, that then means you cannot. That implies that you cannot, within the rules, then repeat that thing, which is not the objective. We don't want to cut out options. We want to enhance them. So, for example, follow through is here is what would normally be a combination of actions. We're letting you do it as one action. Shared focus is letting you do something that normally can't be done because of how initiative works. You're then getting to do that. Lucky find is helpful. And then you have remote assistance, which is letting you do something outside the standard rules of the action. So that's it, really. We need to either do something outside the rules of an action. You need something to automatically happen, which is what I want to do with press the point, where press the point is you just automatically can follow up on something without needing to do a second roll. The roll gets to be maintained as you push forwards. Perhaps the point would work if you wanted to interrogate someone. That's one of the social things you want. We want something when interacting with a merchant, and you probably want something. We could do 2 feats each, because it seems to be 3 is a difficult number. If we just went 2, or 2 for the general, 3 for the general use. Let's think of that a second. So if I went with, if I go like this, so we get rid of you, and we get rid of you. Yes, because I want to add an extra for each class. That would make a lot of sense. To have 2 and then you end up with 3 after getting a class. So I could always look at varying it so some are their own action, some modify an action. No, let's not do that. So we have press the point, which is exploiting a moment of weakness. What other social thing could we do? think the best way to do this is not to focus on this, because this, if you're running your head into a brick wall, the best thing you can do is focus on something else. So let's focus on a different rule set. So, how best to do this? Which of these systems do you want to focus? What? Right, I'll note down what I've already got ideas for here. So, Gene Ward's mode. Oh no, where was it? Ah, how many action points would we want in a turn? Hmm. So here comes a question. What I'm thinking is I'm trying to work out how would we want to do this. How do you want to do this? So I'm tempted to go down this route because the big problem D&D has is you have an action, you have a movement, and you have a bonus action. And the problem is, it's a very easy thing to go, okay, action is your big thing, bonus action is your little thing. It's like, cool, cool, cool. And then it goes, okay, but hear me out here. Your action, we're going to make this action for this subclass, class, feat, whatever, a bonus action. It's like, cool. And this other thing's going to be a bonus action. And then this other thing's going to be a bonus action. And this other thing's going to be a bonus action. And you're like, okay. And you're like, okay. Effectively, everything is now a bonus action. So, part of me is wondering if it's easier to go to, if it would be better to go the video game route, where instead of going here is action, a bonus action, movement, and a reaction, going you have so many action points, and these actions have an action point cost. Then comes the question, how many points? Part of me wants to go 3, because what you can then do is you have a bonus action, would be 1 AP. An action would be 2 AP. And then what you can do is you could have abilities that reduce the AP cost of an action. Another thing you could do, theoretically, is increase a character's AP. That could have some fun mechanics. Likewise, if you have a reaction point every turn, that leads to an implication there are ways to increase your reaction points, which is also fascinating. Or you could go for a single reaction point. You can do change thing, and it's interesting. I like the sound of it. So So question, does any RPG use action points that I could look at how get some ideas from? Did Lancer use action points? I don't think Lancer may have used action points. Does Lancer use action points? I'm trying to remember now, Lancer. I'm trying to remember how Lancer works. It's been so long since I looked at Lancer. Lancer. You. Just have a look at my old. Is that vote finished now? I should probably have paid attention to if the vote had finished so that I knew what I was doing. Okay, so we're going to be supporting mermaids. That's fine by me. Just that's the thing I need to know and set up for later. Here we go, that's what I wanted. Did Lancer use AP? Am I going mad? There we go. It's been a while since I played this. Here we go, mech combat. That's what I was looking for. Yep. Oh no, they stuck with. You either did a full action or two quick actions. Dang. I thought they used action points. Obviously, I am incredibly incorrect. Which then makes me go, where the hell did... There's got to be an RPG that uses action points. Oh, Mithras uses them according to this. Coryllis. Mithras seems to be the one everyone talks about. Okay, what the hell is Mithras? We're going down a design rabbit hole today, folks. I don't want it to be overly complicated, though. That's the only thing. Oh, pardon me. Like, I need action points to be... Oh my god. Damage modifiers, experience modifiers, healing rates. All characters have 2 action points. You can get others based on your dex and your int. Oh god. Professionals. Oh wow. They definitely went the crunchy route with this game. No, that's a problem. Crunchy is not a bad thing. I'm just not sure it's what we want. Here we go. Skills, luck points, opposed rolls. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's... Oh, that... Oh, that's good. Okay, right. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Action points. How does this game treat action points? Is this what I've been imagining with action points? So once initiative has been rolled, you can perform several combat actions during each round. Yep, that's what I wanted. You get 2 action points a round, but when they can act, limited to the actions proactive or reactive. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's interesting. The concept of, okay, so I can see where they're coming from. I'm not sure it is what I would consider, but it's an interesting design choice, which is you have your action points. You can save your action points to use them reactively. So there's a kind of risk reward that's interesting. That's not a design choice I want to use, but that's definitely an interesting choice. So all their actions are one action point. Okay, so there's no kind of minor, major. Okay. This is an interesting system. This has some interesting design choices. I'm not sure they're design choices I would want to go with, but some of these are setting off kind of ideas, which is never a bad thing. It's always, this is the thing about approaching new systems, is you can look at a new system, you can look at its rules and goes, I hadn't considered the rules that way. This changes entirely how I view this game set. One thing that has come to mind is legendary skill mastery, which was what I've been considering, which really I said legendary would give you 3 times your numeric. What I'm now tempted to do is go legendary allows you to get a second d20, and whenever you make a roll you get to roll that second d20 and you pick the highest result. If you would have the equivalent to advantage, that die is 1 extra die. So basically there's always 1 more die than would normally be rolled, picking the highest value. So that's interesting. That's given me some things to think about. Unfortunately, it hasn't helped me with my initial point, which was action points. I don't know how to do action points. Because the thing that comes to mind being an issue is if I, for example, go you, because it's really a question of what do you want to do. If I how do we want to do this? Because my current thought is, what's to stop someone going, okay, because traditionally you would go 2 points action, 1 point bonus action. Nice, simple, easy. I've stopped you having 2 actions because there's only 3 points, but what's to stop you having 3 bonus actions? If, for example, I said you could dash for 2 and a rogue can dash for 1, what's to stop a rogue dashing 3 times? There isn't. Unless that's fine, unless that's something we just consider as rather than a bug, it's a feature. I'm not sure I'm going to go down that route though. The other thing we could do is you could go. I mean, the magic rules are easy if you wanted to use them, because if we were to use D&D as an example, you would go, right, you can only cast 1 spell a turn, unless your 2 action points were spent on a cantrip, at which point you may then spend your final point on a final spell. That one works because what you can do is you can separate cantrip from spell. I guess what you could do is you could say, no, you cannot repeat an action unless otherwise stated. So unless otherwise stated, you cannot repeat an action, meaning I could put in movement. It costs 0 for the first time, then 2 for the second attempt. And say this action, oh, pardon me, may be repeated once. That works, I think. Hello. That works, I think. Yeah. It's a little clunky, but I think it actually gives more room for mechanics. Because then we can start playing with it, because what it means is, one, you have more freedom in your turns, because what I have said is you have 3 AP. You could... it goes okay. I've basically written down some notes in exploring and social that I wanted to remember. I'm stuck on stunts for rolling a d20, but I have some ideas on combat. So my current thought is, if we go to this AP system, if 2 AP was an action or 1 AP was a bonus action, what it means is you could get off 3 bonus actions in a turn, as long as it's not the same action, unless otherwise stated. We can still accommodate for spell weirdness. But what it also gives us is the capability to go in a class or a subclass. The AP value of a specific action is altered. We could also go, you have more than 3 AP. I'd be very reluctant to increase the amount of AP someone has, but in theory, you could increase the amount of AP someone has. You could also... it makes it very easy to add actions, because you just go, as an APX action, do the thing. The other thing we can do is increase your RP, which is your reaction points, to let you have multiple reactions, or to go certain reactions might for the same RP, instead of you being able to attack 1 creature that moves through space, you might be able to attack 5. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. I think having a point system, yes, it is more points to track, but these are very specific. You have this many points per turn to do actions. Have fun with that. I think it allows... I think if we have 3, it would be a mechanic that people who have played D&D could be used to, but it also opens the doors for more creative thinking than what D&D normally would. I've just got to be sure to... Yeah, so our earlier issue was up here with inspired action. So it's basically when you roll the d20 and you got the roll of a 20, you would get inspired action. The inspired action is a special action then you can take. Obviously, in combat, it would be on your next turn. I'd have to take into account how much AP these things take. I could potentially go they take no AP because they're special. But generally, it's these things are special actions you get to do. Because I could go the age route where I modify an ability, because in age how it works is the age system, so dragon age, fancy age, etc., is you roll 3d6, you get a double. The third die is how many stump points you would get, and then you can modify whatever ability you have just done with those stunt points. What I want to do is something a bit different, because I don't want it to be you have to modify the roll then and there. I want it to be here is an action. You have charged, ready to go. The main things we've said so far is I don't want to cut off any actions. So, for example, press the point for social. I don't want it to be you can do a normal roll for pressing an issue, because that would imply that you cannot press a point normally without this. So what I want it to be is where if you get to use this action, either you get extra bonus, or it's easier, or you don't require a roll, or the roll is modified in some way, stuff like that. So one I've got currently is Lucky Find, where you get mundane item under a certain amount of gold value, or a spell component that doesn't cost any money. Remote assistance, letting you give the I'm calling it currently the aid action. I'm not sure if it will be the aid action, but basically you assist another character, but you could do so at range. Socialize, like I've pressed the point where after you've done a social test, you can use the action to keep the result of your previous social test to keep poking the issue. Combat, we have follow through, where you get to make an attack and then effectively, if we're using D&D terms, disengage as you follow through the attack and move. And then shared focus is you and a character you have a certain relationship level with can both perform an action combining the effects. I currently want to do 2 for the general stuff, so combat, exploration, social, and then have 3 for general use. The key issue at the moment is trying to come up with stuff, because as I said, I'm trying not to. I don't want to cut off options for normal roleplay by going, oh no, you have to wait till you roll the d20 to get it. I just want to give you something special, something a bit extra. Um, uh, so another thing now to consider is how much AP does a inspired action take? Which obviously won't have effect on the social exploration because they're a bit more generic. Um, yeah, no, still no ideas for them. That's been the difficult one, has been the inspired actions. So let's have a look. Combat. So we have action points. We have the ability to play with that. I like the idea of action points. I like the ability it gives us room to play with the mechanics and play with number resources. Could always enjoy some resource management. I also think it can lead to some cool things because effectively it's like, oh yeah, this thing takes. Oh, that's a thought. Maybe we could have some conditions that decrease the amount of action points you can take in a turn. Or we could have some conditions that make certain actions take more action points. Yeah, I like that. That's some idea potential that does. Some really interesting ideas. So this is it. Once this is my design method, I kind of spitball ideas until I say something that makes my mind go, "Ooh, you could do this, this," and then suddenly we're running down a line of theoreticals. Um, and then yeah, I want to. I want to test. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I want to test to see if we could get something similar to FF14's Limit Break to work in game. Basically have it be, yeah, you can build up this bar using stuff. Um, yeah. Oh, because that'd be cool if we could give everyone. Oh, I just had a thought of how tanking could work. So in F14, you have 3 limit breaks. You have damage. You have technically there are more because there are multiple damage ones, but for the purpose of this, just say there is damage, there is healing, there is tanking. And I just thought how the tanking one could work, and it could be really cool. Where the character that uses the tank limit break, uh, effectively gives everyone um, a temporary hit point bonus equal to a percentage of their hit points. So if the limit breaks at level 1, it'll be some amount. At level 2, some amount. At level 3, some more amount. And then you have but then what it means is the characters who've like focused on hit point tanking, and then like yeah, bam, do the thing. Um, yeah, because there are three ways we could do it. We could either do your AC goes up, your saving throws have advantage, or you can just make it, because the problem then is it's like, okay, you can't really scale the saving throw thing. You just can't. AC you can scale, but I think I much prefer, because it more mirrors how FF14 does it, where if you went, here is a load of temporary hit points, it's effectively an ablative shield. It isn't quite damage reduction. I mean, it is damage reduction. It isn't damage reduction. It isn't damage reduction in that the actual numerical value of damage has not gone down. But what you have done is you have, in a TTRPG sense, mirrored the effect of damage reduction through the use of temporary hit points. And what you say is the temporary hit points last for a turn, 2 turns. If used at the right time, you could effectively go, okay, so what this will do is it will stop the deadly attack. Or what it can do is... Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'd have to think about it, but I think temporary hit points is the best way to do tanking. Damage, we would probably go down basically the damage dealer gets to choose, because if you're going to try and do the healer spellcast, you're going to try and do this. The problem is with multi-classing, it's difficult to go, oh, if you do this, then it's this, because it's like, yes, the barbarian technically could be considered a tank class because it has stupidly high hit points, but it also has quite high damage. So is it a tank? It is a tank. It can take hit points, but it also is dealing a lot of damage. So, D&D doesn't perfectly translate to a TTRPG. So, but neither should we make it that way, I don't think. I don't think probably should. I think it would be reasonable to consider elements, but not trying to make it one for one. Or what we can do is we can, however, because of this, try and put in some new stuff. So, yeah, I think for damage, we would let you pick between AoE or a single target. Tank, you get temporary hit points. Healing. Yeah, I think healing would follow the same principle as its normal limit, right? Which is level 1 and 2 are everyone gets healed, yay! Level 3 is everyone gets healed, yay! And the dead get back up, yay! The real question is, do I make the cheeky nod even cheekier with it automatically? Is you get to pick 8 characters to apply the effect to. Well, technically I would say 7 plus yourself. Yeah, you and up to 7 creatures if you're choosing. I need to do a quick bit of research a second. Give me just a moment. I just need to go on to you. Go on to you. Where's the PDF? Of course, I forgot. That's the stupid thing. Because it isn't a perfect one-to-one. Here we go. That's what I want. D&D SRD, because I need to check something. Because there is talk of... Okay, so what's that? That's beyond first level. Not really appropriate here, though we could use proficiency bonus. Hit points and hit die. Oh, hit points is technically the term they use. Okay. That's annoying. Yeah, because for those who are wondering why I'm looking up the D&D SRD, there is current discussion around if it will be going to Creative Commons. if it goes to Creative Commons, largely for me it won't have too much of an effect, but there are certain bits that if it becomes available I'd love to borrow. Advantage and disadvantage are the big ones. Because the thing is, advantage and disadvantage is it's easy for me to be able to write an ability that does something similar, but it is a lot easier for me personally to go, okay, you have disadvantage or advantage. That would just be so much easier. Binward hit points is the phrase, which means we will need to be health points because it's the great joy. Okay. Really, I should probably keep that saved until they've made the decision if stuff are going CC, so it's health points. One is often used in video games, one was used in D&D. The problem was I got mixed up. I thought health points was D&D, not the other way around. Okay, so we want to kind of have a limit break like mechanic. We want action points. I think we've been going long enough. Okay. So let's have a look. Ooh, not do anymore. We will raid the Gecko Guild. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming along, everyone for joining, and we will see you all next time.